I wanted to show you guys something that I noticed when reviewing this replay. So I'm Master Bell here in the blue, and I shortly begin to push against TNT, and I just want to watch what happens, and I'm going to point something out as that happens. Okay, so here I'm going in with my attack. Blade Wings first. They're a little bit early for my other units, but he has no anti-air, so that's okay. So far, I'm fighting against TNT's units and Commander's units, and right there we see Aqua start sending his forces down, and suddenly I'm no longer fighting a 1v1 or even a 1v2 because Commander sent some of his units down. I'm fighting a 1v3 against two of the best players on the enemy team, and I keep pushing, and we'll see right here Ghost sent his army in, and now I'm suddenly 1v4. Now, this is a huge problem that is very, very common with team games, and why attacking deep can be such an issue. We're seeing some of that in the top right corner again over here. Commander's attacked my ally, and I've responded with Blade Wings. When you attack into the enemy space, often you're going to be attacking alone. See how I attacked alone over here, and Commander attacked over alone. But you're very likely, more often than not, going to be attacking against an overwhelming force, not from just one player, but everyone around them on the enemy team. And I actually wonder if this is why that games tend to be won or lost on the edge of the map. We see how the most pushed in parts of this map are right on the side here, right on the south and right on the north. It might also just be to do with the terrain on this map, and also where like the skill distribution on the map. And so we'll also see that following this, when Commander and Aqua attack together, only then is it a big enough force to destroy my front line. I mean, hard to tell because I've just thrown my army away 1v4, but we'll see this front here slowly degrade, and then, yeah. And we'll also notice how very quickly Aqua ends up pushing this front himself. Commander's gone and done his own thing. TNT's going and doing something separate. And so that's just another example of how, when you're pushing, you're very likely to be pushing on your own. Here is another example of how Badosu has brought his units in mid to help defend and reinforce that. He's also pushing, and when he pushes out, rather than just defending, he pushes out alone, and then Ghost THC pushes out alone. And so we can see this pattern happening over and over again in this game. We can see this here. We have an attack on Blade Runner, and there's reinforcements coming in from Badosu. Not many of them, but they are. And so I'm probably going to have a bunch of clips of, yeah, this happened again and again and again this game. Yeah. So it's something to keep in mind. So the question then, of course, is what do you do instead? And I'm going to have to run through the game again in order to get... Okay, so we're caught back up, and we're going to zoom in and have a look at this battle and see exactly what's going on here. Okay, so the Blade Wings go in first. And we're looking at this here. This is all fine. So far, I'm not facing any reinforcements. Let's put it on line of sight. And so I'm not facing ally reinforcements. They've sent the reinforcements in, and I've taken out the front line, but I can't go any further because maybe past this point, I'm starting to fight the reinforcements from Aqua we can see coming in here. And so in pushing this attack, I have won a significant amount of metal. There's still a significant amount of metal right here that I can secure without pushing further. But the further I push, the further I'm pushing into ally reinforcements. And so at this point, so there are a couple things going on. Firstly, just Commander's reinforcements from his base are coming in and picking off lone units. So best would be to regroup, but also because pushing further is pushing into Aqua's artillery, and very soon his Jaguar as well, and not too long later Ghost's army up here is going to come in. Best thing to do would be to reclaim the metal and pull my army back out to a place where I can secure. For example, well, given that Aqua's bringing in Jaguars, my Fiends aren't going to be able to stand up against that at all, so it would probably be best to secure the metal and pull all the way back out until I can build some units that can deal with the ally reinforcements. The attack has still been worth it because I've got the reclaim and I've definitely built up a significant advantage over the enemy by getting that reclaim, and these res bots will get just this bit of extra metal here, but anything further, and all this is going to be, how much reclaim is that? That's maybe about 1,000 reclaim that I've now placed in the enemy control. So even if I don't think I have, because my army was too spread out and it wasn't well microed, even if I was trading efficiently, they're getting all the reclaim from it, so it isn't worth it. So pull back and come back to safety until those forces return back up to their lane or wherever they go, and then I don't worry about it. Another thing that would be, rather than continuing to press on here, my next target should be somewhere like down here, where there's all this reclaim on the map. Currently it looks like that reclaim's being secured, but it's very tentatively being secured. So tactically that's a good place for me to press towards. Another place where there is a huge amount of reclaim on the map is up here, where there's about 5,000 metal worth of reclaim that I could send my army to secure. Aside from the fact that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 50 metal per second worth of metal extractors that I've just somewhat secured, depending on where Aqua sends his army next, whether he tries to push me or not, but it's definitely in a contestable zone. It would be better to invest resources into securing that and solidifying that advantage and building up a big enough army advantage that I can take on 2, 3, 4 players, rather than pushing into the 2, 3, 4 players with equal eco, because I'm on about 100 metal per second. That's not including any reclaim that's going on, I believe. Aqua's about 95. Commander's about 75. and TNT is about 29. So all up, that's about 200. So I'm currently pushing into twice the resource production that I have. So it would be best, now that I've got this advantage over TNT and I can secure this extra 50 metal, that'll get me close. A bit more eco like this advanced fusion that I'm starting to build back here. Maybe two of them, and I'll be ahead in eco. And once I'm ahead in eco, then I can comfortably fight all of them at once. I just don't have an eco lead yet, so I can't. So first priority then, secure this metal up here. Second priority would be to make sure that this metal is secured back here. I mean, where is there more metal? Yeah, there's only a couple thousand metal there. Well, there's about 5,000 metal up there, not including what's in the base, and the stuff in the base is all secured. So the frontline metal itself is about 5,000. So that should be my first port of call for securing this metal here. And the other thing is securing this hill, because if they were to, say, put a plasma cannon up on this hill, a T2 plasma cannon, that would absolutely destroy my forward base. Not only that, it would secure and deny this geo all these metal extractors in the mid. So claiming this hill is tactically advantageous, not just because of the metal. So pushing your lane, once you've got a slight advantage in your lane, it's not worth pushing it forward any further, generally, so much as help securing the other lanes beside you, and then once you've got a universal advantage, then you'll be able to push slightly ahead again, and then secure beside you again, and then once you've secured beside you, you can move up again, and so on. I mean, sure, there are going to be games, and there were examples in this game, especially up here where we've got the newer players who are less aware of what's happening on the map. It takes experience to be able to have the awareness and not be bogged down in just running your base. So part of the reason this attack got all the way through is because, because a lot of the defensive force is artillery, but also because these players, and me for example, with my blade wings up here, I was very slow to react to this force. And part of the reason I was slow to react, there were a lot of missile trucks that would block this. So you can, on occasion, find cases where you can push through and the enemy's team isn't going to react or isn't going to react fast enough. But generally speaking, this is what's going to happen. The entire enemy team will converge on you, and that's basically, the further you dive, the more enemy forces you're going to have to go through, the more enemy players. Alright, that was probably far too verbose, but I'm going to edit it down, and hopefully it'll be understandable. So here's an example of commander attacking and all three teams went to defend. We've got another one up here. Aqua and Commander working together to defend against my push. We've got another push here that ended up 1v2 against Clutch and Dauros. And something to note that's happening very well down here, we've got Badosu's units working with Commanders, Badosu's units working with Blade Runner's units basically the entire time. And that's part of why they managed to push up so far. We have another example here, Clutch attacking, and he's fighting against Aqua's army and Commander's army. Well, there were allies there, and there was a very small supporting force from Calgod. And Dauros's army didn't involve itself at all. So that's another example.